Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. I'm your host, Amy Beltran, CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through my signature online coaching program, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. If you would like to learn more about my program and see if you're a good fit for enrollment into Irresistible You, please schedule a free confidence clarity call at irresistibleicing.com/call. All you have to do is pick the date and time that works for you, get yourself booked on my calendar so we can have a conversation. The link is also in the show notes. All right, y'all, let's get started. I'm ready to get ranty. I'm ready to get ravey. I'm fired up. I'm passionate. I'm already sweating. Um, this is a topic that really frosts my ass, and we need to talk about it. I have ranted about this before over in episode 37. The topic or the title of that episode is The Body Positive Movement is Bullshit, plus what self-love really means. So if you want an extra dose of this today, you can go and listen to that episode right after this one, because it's time to talk about this again, and it's time to clear the air. It's time to set the record straight, and that's what we're about to do right here, right now. So let's get started. So where this came from, over the weekend, I was seeing, I don't know what was going on, okay? But over the weekend, I started to see a ton of posts in some of the groups that I follow, some of the Instagram accounts that I'm connected to and such. And I was just getting so angry and so just fired up because there's a lot of missed messages out there by these so-called gurus, even these people that are claiming to be mental health experts with little letters after their name, that are putting messages out there to their audiences that, quite frankly, are downright irresponsible, and they're just stupid. The messages that they're saying are just downright stupid. And I give no Fs. I give no apologies for how I feel, how I believe, because I know that these people are full of shit. And I want to talk about it because what pisses me off about it is that here's the deal. For so many of you that listen to my podcast, you are someone who is trapped on the yo-yo diet body hate shame cycle. You have spent a majority of your life trying to lose weight, and not just because you want to lose weight, but chasing the fact that you think there's some magic door that's going to open when you finally lose the weight and your life will begin, but yet you've been doing this your entire life. And I think for a lot of you that listen to me, you're at a place where you know you have to stop doing that. You know it's not healthy anymore, but you still know that you have weight to lose. But you don't necessarily want to keep doing things the way you've always been doing them. So you're looking for a different way, right? To finally love yourself, have self-worth, create a life that you crave that doesn't revolve around dieting and food. And when you're in that delicate state where you're starting to really wake up and stop zombie walking through life and wake up to the fact that you're waiting for the weight, I know how that is, and you start to do your research and you start to listen to things and you start to follow different accounts on social media. And I think it can be really confusing, really overwhelming, and it just creates a lot of frustration and confusion when you're seeing some of these dangerous ideas that are being promoted out there. And so, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to agree with me, and that's okay. That's the beauty of, having a podcast and having freedom of speech and being able to hit the stop button or to the unsubscribe button or whatever. And if you like what I have to say, if you agree with my opinion, then cool. I'd love to have you stick around with me. But I want to make my line in the sand very clear on what I believe and what I support. Because what I don't support is this fake, performative, if you will, body positive movement that's going on. And what I'm talking about is I see a lot of things out there, and I'm going to give you some examples of what I saw this weekend. But this performative body positive movement stuff is when I see things out there like just eat intuitively, just listen to your body, eat whatever your body's telling you to eat. And intentional weight loss is not okay. It's really bad. And if you continue to want intentional weight loss and do things to lose weight intentionally, you're falling back into the trap of diet culture. That is the kind of stuff that they're out here preaching. And it's dangerous. Okay? Because there are reasons when weight loss is absolutely necessary. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. Some of the posts, I want to just talk about some of the examples that I saw specifically over the weekend, and I'm not going to share where these were found. I'm not going to put anybody on blast like that, but I'm going to give you the gist of this. So, in one of the examples, the person was struggling because they were saying how they have gained so much weight and they are now physically uncomfortable where it's limiting their mobility. This person cannot even bend over or bend down to tie their own shoes. And this person is struggling with all of this guilt because she wants to lose the weight. And she specifically said she wants to lose the weight so she can move better. But she also is fighting against this belief that's been shoved down her throat with this movement that losing weight shouldn't be it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be the goal. You shouldn't want to lose weight. Okay. And she's super frustrated. And what really pissed me off, I mean, she even says that she can't even wash certain parts of her body in the shower. Hello. That is a problem, guys. Like, I'm just jumping at, that's a problem, okay? What was pissing me off the most is the people in the comments are continuing to fuel this performative body positivity bullshit. No, you should just find other ways to tie your shoes. You should find other things to focus on. You should try to sit differently. You shouldn't have to lose weight in order to tie your shoes. Yeah, sometimes we are so overweight that we physically can't do simple tasks. And that is a problem. And we're going to talk about that. So that was just, I'm like sweating. Okay, that's one example. Okay. One of the other examples was from someone who had said they had lost like 80 to 100 pounds or something like that. And they had gained back almost all of it. Their doctor was really concerned because they are, dangerously overweight at this point. They are starting to show signs of, being pre-diabetic and hypertension and, all those diseases that kind of coincide with obesity. And the same thing was happening with this person as they were just, oh, that's a bad doctor. It's not about weight. You can be healthy at that whole health at every size bullshit movement that goes on too. And on and on and on and on. And they're just coddling these people and telling them, it's okay. You don't need to lose weight. That should not be what you need to do. Just focus on intuitive eating. Just focus on loving yourself, just accept where you are. Just accept it. Just accept this is your body. And you can never go back to your old body. Okay. I have to take a breath. Okay. The other example, I'm like, where's all this weekend was just like on fire with this stuff. So another thing that I saw was this woman who was complaining, and she was quite upset, and she claims to be a body image coach, and she was quite upset that she ordered an office chair. She made sure that when she purchased it, it was a chair that could hold her weight. She's very, very overweight. That chair was designed for a high weight limit. And she was just mind blown, shocked that when the chair came in, she couldn't fit in the chair because she didn't expect that the chair should have also been wide. So the chair was not wide enough for her body. And so, yes, my God, like that's humiliating. That feels awful. That feels just like it takes, you feel like you have no dignity with all, like not being able to tie your shoes, not being able to reach, parts of your body that really need to be washed, not being able to fit in a chair. Like, how, like, I just can't think of ways that feel more like dehumanizing than that. It just takes all your dignity away. So my heart breaks and it goes out to these people. And I'm not sharing these stories to take away from that. I want to get to the point where I'm angry is the way these people, these so-called experts, these so-called gurus, what they're telling them to do. And so this woman, says that when people go on a diet to change their body, that tells her that their worst fear is to look like her. No, boo, that is not their worst fear. That is not the worst fear. If you can't fit into oversized chairs, if you can't do simple things like tie your shoes, wash your ass, use the bathroom, if you're physically unable to do those things because your weight has gotten so far out of control, that is a problem. And what I refuse to do is to sit around and coddle someone and tell them, oh, it's okay, just love yourself, just accept that this is the body that you have now. Just accept that there's nothing you can do about this. And if you want to try to lose the weight, oh, yeah, girl, like you're just falling for the diet culture trap. That is dangerous. That is irresponsible, and I won't stand for it. And for those of you that know me, that are part of my community, have been listening to my podcast, work with me in my coaching program, you know my heart and you know what I stand for. And I stand for not waiting for the weight to live your life. I stand for not attaching your self-worth to a number or a size. I stand for loving yourself enough to create the life that you crave, because your life began a long time ago. Your life doesn't begin at goal weight, and getting to your goal weight or getting to a certain size is not a prerequisite for treating yourself with respect, dignity, and love. That is what I stand for, and that is what I wholeheartedly believe. But I also stand for the fact that there are solid reasons why physical weight loss is necessary. And so let's kind of dive into that, because otherwise I'm going to be all over the place ranting and raving even more. So there are times when deciding to lose weight is coming from a place of self-love. And the I have 3 solid reasons why weight loss is necessary. And number 1, it's only necessary when you're able to do it from a place of self-love and not from self-hate. And so if you can't bend over and wipe yourself or tie your shoes, then we've got a lot of work to do there. Not just on the physical weight loss, but you have to learn how to have enough respect and love for your body and for yourself to want better for yourself. Because one of the biggest things that I talk about and that I help people do is I help people achieve the irresistible life they crave. And to me, there's nothing irresistible about having a life where I can't even wash myself in the shower. And I can talk about these things because I have been to the point where I could barely do that. I could not bend over to tie my shoes. I could not walk 10 minutes without feeling like I was dying of a heart attack. And that was not a way to live my life. And when you are so physically uncomfortable and miserable and limited in your own body, then weight loss is absolutely necessary. But I'm telling you, it has to come from a place of self-love and not a place of self-hate. Weight loss is absolutely necessary when it can save your life. If you are being told you're pre-diabetic, you have hypertension, you have diseases that are directly correlated to your obesity, to your lifestyle, it's time to make changes. Because here's what I'll tell you. People that are emotional binge eaters, which most people, 99% of you listening to this podcast, that's the problem. When you are an emotional binge eater, there's some other things that are highly connected to that mentality, that mindset, and that is denial and entitlement. Denial and entitlement are so deeply embedded into the brain of an emotional eater. And to sit around and act like it's not a big deal to be able to tie your shoes, to sit around and act like I just should focus on intuitive eating when you're pre-diabetic, that is denial to like the umpteenth percent. Like that is just full on denial. And this entitlement, I cannot with this. And so, you cannot say to someone that has had a lifetime of emotional eating, binge eating, and quite frankly, food compulsion, you can't tell someone, well, you should just intuitively eat. That's like going 0 to 100. A person who is an emotional eater cannot go from emotional eating to intuitively eating without doing a ton of work in between. And part of the problem with emotional eaters, especially with women, is this extreme level of denial and entitlement. And what I mean by that is the entitlement is like, I want this food and I want it now because I deserve it because I had a bad day. I'm entitled to this food and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that food. That's the entitlement. The denial is like acting like, oh, if people want to diet, if people want to lose weight, it's because they just don't want to look like me. No. If someone cannot physically fit into a chair and they want to lose weight, it's because they're so miserable in their own skin. They're so uncomfortable in their own skin. Okay? And so it's like, here's the difference here. Here's what we really got to talk about is like, the problem is that for so long, though, you're trying to lose weight because you hate yourself. Because you think if you lose the weight, everything will get better. And the thing is like, if your weight is impeding your ability to tie your shoes, it's impeding your ability to sit in a chair properly, then yeah, if you do lose the physical weight, there's a lot of things that are going to change and there's a lot of things that are going to improve for you physically. But what is not being addressed in all these diets is your emotional weight also. What it means to have been the type of person who even had to think about, oh, I wonder if I can tie my shoes today. Oh, I wonder if I can bend down or bend over, turn around on the toilet and wipe my own ass. I wonder if I'll be able to do that today. Diets don't address how much you are stripped of your dignity when you've gone through that. How much you have been stripped of your dignity to be called out on an airplane because you can't fit in the seat. How much of your dignity has been stripped away because you've been bullied and name called and rejected and made fun of because of your size. All of those things are not addressed in traditional quote unquote diets. So falling back into the trap of quote unquote diet culture, which just says eat less, move more, and you'll be okay, that is a problem. Because for someone who's a chronic emotional eater, binge eater, those diets aren't addressing the things that I'm talking about right now. So will you feel better just losing the weight? Hell yeah, you will. That's science, baby. Like, if you're so overweight that you can't walk up the stairs and you can't tie your shoes and you can't do things that most people just do, your life is going to change when the weight comes off. But what you have never addressed in the past is the emotional weight that's attached to it, because you've only tried to diet out of I can't stand myself. I hate myself. I am so disgusting. I am so gross that I can't even wipe my own ass. I can't even tie my own shoes. I can't even go up the stairs without feeling like I'm going to die. I am a disgusting, nasty person. That is the issue. That's the problem. And so we have to address physical weight loss, not from self-hatred, but from a place of wanting self-love. Because you can argue and say, but if I can't tie my own shoes and I can't fit in a chair, I don't really love myself right now. Like, I feel disgusting. And I get that because I've been there, right? Where you just feel absolutely disgusted with yourself. But you've got to find something within you that is ready to make these changes so that you can fall in love with the woman that you want to be. Because you may not love yourself right now, and that is okay. But you have to envision who you're going to become. And you have to have enough compassion and respect and love for that version of yourself that will be able to tie your own shoes, that will be able to sit comfortably inside of a chair. And you have to look at it that way instead of I'm so gross, I'm so disgusting, I can't believe this happened, I am just such a pig, I am nasty, blah, 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 blah. That's all that inner fat bitch chatter. And we have to start redirecting and shutting down that inner fat bitch chatter and saying, all right, I'm not where I want to be, I'm physically uncomfortable, and I'm going to do this because I deserve this. I deserve to feel better. I deserve to have a life that I can live. I deserve to have a life that I crave. I deserve to stop waiting for the weight to make this happen for me. And so weight loss is absolutely necessary when you're doing it from a place of self-love and not self-hate. It's absolutely necessary when you're physically uncomfortable and limited in your own ability in your own skin. And telling someone, just accept that, is highly irresponsible. Nobody should be told that you should just sit there and accept this mediocre bullshit where you can't even tie your own shoes. That is not okay. No one should sit there and accept and be angry at a doctor because they're trying to help you because you're pre-diabetic and have hypertension. Because there is scientific evidence that you cannot dispute that losing the weight and changing your lifestyle, moving your body, changing the types of foods that you're eating will make you feel better and give you better results with your health. And I am sick and tired of people acting like that is not a thing. Weight is not everything, but let's stop acting like it's not part of the equation. That's that denial thing. I call it fat girl denial and fat girl entitlement, where we're going to just deny that things are as bad as they are. And let me tell you, I used to be the same way. When I was at my highest weight, when I was in my 20s, at the time I was working full time and I was going to college full time. And so I went to college classes at night. And I just remember, like, I could not even walk around my college campus without feeling like I was going to die. And I would just blame it on, I don't know, I'm tired, been a long day. I also recall these boots that I used to have. They were ankle boots. They were super cute. I love them. I bought them and they wouldn't zip up over my ankles. Literally, my ankles and my legs were so big, they would not zip over my ankles. And I wore them anyway. I bought them, you know, I wore them, I rocked them. And let me tell y'all, I was telling everybody, like, hey, girl, this is the new style. Everybody's doing this. You just wait. It's going to be everywhere. Yeah, because everyone wants to wear boots that are, like, fully not zipped. That is some denial shit right there. I also, like, I gained almost 100 pounds in less than a year. And all the clothes that I was wearing at the beginning of the year, they didn't fit me anymore. You know, this was like right out of high school. So like my size 9, size 11, little short shorts. No girl, they didn't fit. And all of a sudden, I'm telling myself how I love to wear stretchy work pants, you know, like the, like stretchy, work pants, like that you would wear to like slacks or whatever that were like stretchy. They had like what am I trying to say? There was no buttons. They're just stretchy. I would tell people or tell myself I love stretchy skirts, you know, all this. I just love to always be dressed up in, you know, skirts. No, it's because I was in such denial about how big I had gotten that I refused to, number one, step on a scale and face the music, and number two, try clothes on that would actually fit the size that I was, especially back then, because back in the like late 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have the type of options we have now for, you know, plus size, and, you know, the trendy clothes were only for the skinny people, like literally. And I refused to go to Lane Bryant or, you know, what, that was probably the only plus size store in existence, because regular stores did not carry sizes over a 14. And I was pushing like a 20, 22 at that point when I finally, you know, realized how much weight I had gained. That's what I'm talking about with this fat girl denial, is like, I am not willing to address the elephant in the room. I am not willing to admit how far gone I am. I'm going to just sit around and act like things are just fine. That is denial, 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 denial. And I also, my physical health was in horrible shape. I was winded. Here I was, like, young. I didn't have a period for almost a year. And I would not go to the doctor. I would not go to the gynecologist because, number one, I got to get on the scale. And I had no idea at the time what I weighed because I didn't want to know. And number two, some stranger is going to have to see me in all my glory, butt naked, laying on a table. And I just could not face the music. Denial. And while that denial is happening, there's a sense of entitlement. I want to go out to eat to blah, blah, blah. I'm craving this, and I had a bad day, and I'm stressed out, and I deserve it. And I can remember, like, not even, because I was like young, not even having the money in my account to go out to eat, and I would put it on credit cards. That's entitlement. I would treat people like shit to get my fix, to get what I wanted. It's like, go pick me up this, go pick me up that. Just this disgusting sense of entitlement. And I sometimes watch that show, My 600-Pound Life, and I constantly see that entitlement of these people who can't even get out of their bed, and they've got people running around bringing them everything, and, you know, that's, you got the enabler. So there's a lot of things, there's so many layers to this stuff, you guys, and I just want to clear the air, because we cannot act like there are not times when losing weight is going to save our life. There are times when losing weight is literally going to save your life. And to continue to sit around and buy into these messages that we should just accept ourselves, yeah, like you should love yourself. You should work on acceptance. You should work on your body image. But do you also need to lose the physical weight too? And that's what I help people do is like, we need to work on this emotional weight that's underneath of it all. Because it's not just the fact that you've overate and you're eating more than you should, that's why you gained all the weight. That's not why. That's part of it. Another part of the reason you've gained all the weight is because there's some emotional weight that you're carrying that you refuse to address because you're in denial. And so we just have to start looking at losing weight from a place of self-love and not self-hatred, and accepting the fact that sometimes intentional weight loss is absolutely necessary. And to act as though intentional weight loss is falling into diet culture and falling back in the trap, that's irresponsible. And again, the difference becomes intentional weight loss because I love myself enough and I love the future self, my future self enough to create a better life for her now. Versus, I hate myself. Look at you, you fat, nasty bitch. I can't believe you look like that. You're so gross. You're so this. You're so that. You're so that. That's self-hatred. And that's falling into diet culture. I just need to get the weight off. I just need to do this. I just need to find that quick fix. What if we could lose the weight and also at the same time lose the shame, lose the guilt, lose the shitty confidence, lose the lack of self-love, lose the lack of self-worth, and actually lose the emotional weight at the same time? What if you could actually do that too? Then you break the cycle. Then you stop running on the yo-yo diet, body, hate, shame cycle, right? And let me just kind of wrap up, and I'm sorry if this was all over the place because I feel like it was, but it needed to be said. Let me just say this too. So, losing weight should not be about a number or a certain size. Like, you can have a goal that's cool to be like, I want to be this weight range or whatever. But where it starts to toe the line and get dangerous is when you believe, well, when I'm this weight, I'm going to feel happy. When I'm this weight, I'm going to be outgoing. When I'm this weight, I'm going to be that version of myself that I like daydream about. That's a problem, right? Instead of just focusing on a number of pounds, a size, a weight, what have you, what you need to focus on instead is like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to show up? So for example, for me, if I can't physically bend over and tie my own shoes, that's where I have to draw the line. If I can't walk a mile or two without feeling like death has come over me, that's a problem. If I can't go up a flight of stairs without feeling winded, that is a problem. And so it's like, how have you ever just sat down and written out all the ways that you want to feel in your body? And instead of judging yourself on the scale, you're judging yourself on your ability and what you want to be able to do. Because for me, if I'm not able to do those things that I just said, that's not an irresistible life for me. And so that's what we talk about when we talk about thinking about who you want to become, thinking about the life that you want to create. You can't just say, I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to be 150 pounds or whatever. What the hell does that even mean? You need to start writing down how you want to feel. What kind of lifestyle do you want? I don't want a lifestyle. I'm very clear about this with myself, right? I don't want a lifestyle where I'm sitting around laying on the couch for days at a time. That's not okay to me because I spent a lot of time doing that in the past when I was at my higher weight. And I knew when I was doing that, I had agoraphobia, severe depression, crippling anxiety, and I was just in a really dark place. And so I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. And for me, I need a life where I'm active, I'm outdoors, I'm having fun, I'm going on adventures, I'm doing new exciting things. So that's part of my vision. And if, I'm at such a high weight that number one, I mentally don't want to leave the house because we have to also think about the fact that being overweight is not just a physical problem. It is a big issue with our mental health as well, how we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, how we show up for ourselves. And if I'm so overweight that I can't even walk a mile, do you think I'm going to go on adventures with my kids and my dog? No. And then what does that do? It keeps me stuck in the house, which keeps me depressed, which keeps me anxious, which keeps me beating myself up. And it's just not good. It's not a good look for me. So what I want you to start thinking about is, how do you want to feel in your life, in your body? What kind of woman do you want to be? How do you want to show up? Because just saying, oh, I hate my stomach and I want to lose 50 pounds, that doesn't mean anything. That pretty much means nothing. Why do you want to lose 50 pounds? Why do you want to lose the weight? And when you start really drilling down on that, then you can lose the weight from a place of self-love. And like I said, you may not be in love with yourself today, and that's okay, but you are falling in love with who you could be, that future version of yourself. So I want you to really think about that. Write that stuff down, because that's how you get excited. That's how you also have an anchor to when you feel the fat girl entitlement and you just want to eat what's in front of you right now because you had a bad day. Because that's instant gratification, right? And you can't think about your future at the end of the day. You're tired, you're stressed, you're hungry, you're hangry. You have to think about it when you have a clear head, when you're in the right mind frame, so that when you have those moments where you want to just be the entitled fat girl, you're like, wait a second, this isn't what I want for my future. And if you want to become the version of yourself that you crave, that doesn't happen in a year from now because you get to your goal weight. It happens from the actions that you're taking now to get there. And so, there's just so many different layers to this, you guys. And that's why, I think a lot differently than a lot of other people that are out there, that I feel like that this movement, within the weight loss community and then the body positivity community, it's like very black and white thinking of like, either you're all in with losing weight or you're all in with just accepting yourself and not wanting to lose weight. And I kind of just march to the beat of my own drum. I always have, I always will. And so that's just what I believe. I believe that, even if you're sitting here listening to this and you're at the highest weight that you've ever been, that doesn't mean you're a horrible person. That doesn't mean that you don't deserve to treat yourself good now. Matter of fact, you learning how to treat yourself with some kind of dignity and respect at your biggest weight teaches you that no matter what size you are, you're worthy and deserving. And that's why I teach people that, is like, we're not going to sit around and wait for the weight to, go put a cute outfit on or rock some makeup or talk to ourselves like we actually give a damn. That's not reserved for goal weight. That's not reserved for weighing a certain number or size. You have to start doing the work now at your highest weight so that when you get down on the scale, you've already got that part figured out. And then the physical weight loss literally is like icing on the cake. Because otherwise, if you just So that's the difference, right? That's losing weight from a place of self-love versus hating yourself on the way down. Like, how many times have you done that where it's like you have literally hated yourself down the scale? So then you get to your goal, or you have the bariatric surgery, or you have the loose skin surgery, and you're still not happy with yourself because you still have that inner fat bitch inside who's beating you up, who's talking down to you, who's telling you how horrible of a person you are. And now you don't have the weight as a shield to deflect from all those thoughts that you have about yourself, because now they're even louder because you don't have the weight as the center of your universe to focus on. And that's why people gain back the weight over and over and over again, because they don't do that work. They don't do that work. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope that this made sense. I feel like it was a lot to share and it was kind of all over the place. And I would definitely recommend going back and listening to episode 37 as well. I think I might have done a better job speaking on this, but this is just kind of where I'm at right now, what I was hearing, the messages that I'm seeing, and it's time to shut this stuff down. Like, it's just dangerous. It's just dangerous to continue to tell people to basically sit in their own misery, to not want to, just please don't lose weight. No, that's bad. No, it's not always bad. It's not always bad. And I can speak from that because I have been in the place where losing weight, number one, saved my life. Number two, gave me a life that I couldn't have overweight. And you know what? So I'm not done. Hang on, a couple more minutes. I gotta say this. I love to watch shows like addiction, intervention. I love anything like mental health, psychology. I just love all that kind of stuff. And when I watch the addiction intervention shows, I always see the correlation between that and being overweight and addicted to emotional eating. Because this would be the same thing. Let's say you had an alcoholic, okay, who can't stop drinking, and alcohol is just, running their life. They're not in control of their own life. To me, this would be like telling an alcoholic, just accept it. Just accept that you like to have drinks every day. Just intuitively drink whatever you want. Your body, you can trust your body. Your body will tell you what you need. Nobody would ever say that to an alcoholic or a drug addict because they can't trust their body right now. They can't trust that they're just going to know not to drink. Because why? They have to go to rehab. They have to learn the steps. They have to learn how to deal with their life to where they're not dealing with their life with alcohol and drugs. And it's the same thing with emotional eating. It's like you can't tell an emotional eater to just start eating intuitively, because an emotional eater is going to intuitively eat everything in sight. They're going to eat all their cravings. They're going to eat all the sugar. They're going to eat all the fast food, right? If they haven't done the work first. And when I say the work, I'm specifically talking about how to lose that emotional weight. How to do that stuff in between that dieting doesn't teach you. So we would never tell an alcoholic, just intuitively drink, eventually you won't want it anymore. That's dangerous. That's irresponsible. And it's the same thing with emotional eating, that we can't tell people, just accept it, just stay where you are, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. So let's just, I think we're going to wrap here on that. I wanted to leave you on that note. Let's continue this conversation. I want to keep talking about it. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know, kind of your opinion on things and where you stand. So if you can, if you haven't joined yet, make sure you join our free podcast discussion group on Facebook. Just type in Irresistible You and you will see the group. I also have it linked in the show notes as well. You can also follow me on Instagram. Instagram is where I share kind of more behind the scenes of what's going on with Irresistible You, and just a glimpse into my own personal life. So you can follow me there at Irresistible Icing. And if you love the podcast, I would love to have your support, especially as I am getting ready to take an abbreviated maternity leave. I'm still defining what that really means for me at this point in my life. It would be really helpful for you, or for me, if you can go into iTunes or your podcast app of choice and just leave a rating and review about the podcast and how it has helped you in any way. I would greatly appreciate that. And that is how you can help support the podcast as well. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Let's have an irresistible week. Until next time, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.